Hello everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Juliet. So today's video is the concluding part of how to make a pieces blouse. I'm going to link the first part of this tutorial in the description box below and also somewhere on the screen. So let's continue with the sewing process. Here is my pad. We're going to be cutting that out for the bust area. This is my under bust point. I'm going to make a mark like so because we're going to be needing that guide. So I'm placing that under bust point now at the edge of my breast pad like so. So I'm going to place the under bust measurement I'm working with, which is 14 inches on that under bust point, and then mark 7 inches upwards. I traced the sides and then I am marking 4 inches in, and we're going to make a curve round like so. Now this is for the center piece. So I'm going to be cutting this out now, after which I will flip it over and cut the second piece. So we're going to be needing 2 for the center front. I'm going to go ahead now and iron that piece on the wrong side. So I'm using my paper as a guide because these things can look the same when you're done. So in order to be sure that I am ironing my pad where it should be, which is on the side, it's towards the side that is going to join to the side front, like so. So we're going to iron that on, and then we'll go ahead and cut the padding piece for the side pieces. See, this side should be, that's the center front. Then for the side pieces, I've also gone ahead to cut my lining pieces. Like I said, my lining is shorter than the main fabric by 1 inch. Here I'm placing the under bust point of the side pieces at the edge again, and then I am curving those that side. I'm also placing my under bust measurement, which is 14 on my tape, and then I'm going to locate 8 inches this time around. Then I will mark 4 inches like so, and then make a curve, as you can see. We're going to cut this out, then turn it over and cut a second piece for the second side front. So you have to turn it over like this. It's very, very important. If the smooth side, it's either the smooth side is facing the smooth side, or the side with the glue is facing the side with the glue, else you will have 2 of the pieces for the same side. So I have ironed my pad to my blouse pieces and the medium weight gum stay on the lower half of this pieces, as you can see. So you can iron medium or even hard, depending on how much of standing effect you want on your blouse. So we're going to go join this front pieces, that's the center front pieces together, and then we will join the sides like so. Join the center pieces together and then join the sides on both sides, and then the back we are going to join one side piece to one center piece. I've also ironed the medium weight gum stay on it, as you can see. So for the back, I think it's easy. One neckline to one armhole, and then another neckline to another armhole. We're going to go join using 1/2 inch, and please start from the down, is very important. So we're going to be doing the same thing for the lining pieces. Then for the yoke, we are going to place the lining on the right side. Then we will sew the neckline and then also sew the down part, the keyhole part of it, using 1/2 inch. So after sewing and ironing the yoke, this is what we have. I've gone ahead to cut a new yoke since that one was looking too wide for me. So next off, I have also sewn the front and the back pieces like I mentioned, and this is what the front is looking like. I've also ironed so it looks smooth and clean. This is the lining piece for the front. Next, we are going to join the yoke to the front as well as the lining. So I'm placing the yoke piece, making sure the center front is sitting on the center. You may need to refer to your pattern piece to be sure that you're placing this yoke the right way. I had made a mark already, so I was just following that mark. So the crease on the yoke indicates the center, so I'm pinning it to the center of the blouse, and then I am pinning to the sides like so, making sure that you're not dragging one part more than the other and that your yoke is centralized. After pinning it in place like so, we're going to place our lining piece over it and we're going to go sew that. This is what we have. I'll place the lining piece over it like so, matching the center point, and then we are going to go sew around that part like so, and we'll go ahead also and sew the down part, making sure that the center points are matching. That is it for the front. Then for the back, we are going to place the lining piece on the right side of the back piece. We're going to sew the down part using 1/2 inch, and then we'll sew the neckline and then sew that zip side such that there will be extra on the distance. The down part is going to fold over a little bit. The same thing here, we're going to sew the down part first, then sew the neckline, and then sew the zip side, and I will show you what it should look like. This is it for the front. I have turned it out and I have ironed, and this is what we have. And then for the back, this is what we have as well. Next, we're going to mark the zip allowance. We're marking 1 inch now. So after turning this with the lining, our zip allowance is no longer 1.5. It is now 1 inch. So marking 1 inch all the way to this end. We're going to go join the two back pieces together using a loose stitch because we'll be taking that out later to add a zip. So after sewing, I ironed open, and this is what we have. Next, we're going to go ahead and mark the measurement we're working with. So from the shoulder, I marked the 1/2 length measurement, and then up here, starting from the zip line, I marked 1/4 of the bust measurement, that is bust divided by 4, and then here I marked the 1/2 length round divided by 4. Please remember our measurements are starting from the zip line. Then on the hem of the blouse, I just come in by 2 inches and then we'll connect to the 1/2 length. I'm going to turn this blouse over and repeat the same thing on the opposite side. Mark the 1/2 length, then mark 1/4 of the bust up here starting from the zip line, and then 1/4 of the 1/2 length round, and then on the hem we are going to come in by 2 inches and connect all the points together. So in order to get the perfect fit for your blouse, you're going to open this up and check one more time. I'm covering that out so I don't have a sharp edge. So one last check, we are going to check from one line to the other to be sure that we have exactly half of our bust measurement up here. If we don't, we will adjust, and then half of the half length round measurement here, and if it's not, we're going to adjust that, and then we will draw a new line and then go ahead to pin this to the front piece. Now I'm going to place both front and back pieces right sides facing each other, making sure that the center front and the center back are sitting right on top of each other. Very important, so you don't have blouse that is one-sided. So making sure that the center points of both the back and the front pieces are matching, we're going to go sew on these lines and then join the shoulder, the main fabric to main fabric, and then lining to lining like so. After that, I went ahead to reduce my seam allowances to about 1.5 inch on both sides. I'm going to cut the excess out, and then you can go ahead and weave that part or finish it up with a bias strip. I'm doing the same thing for this side, reducing my seam allowance to 1.5 inch. After that, we are going to turn it to the right side and then trim off the front armhole. This is the time where you trim your front armhole, that way they are the same, both the front and the back. And you can go ahead as well to adjust at this point if your armhole is too small. So I folded mine together. I am going to be measuring around the armhole and making some tiny adjustments. I'm going to measure around this armhole. We'll use that measurement to cut the sleeve. So I got 8 inches there plus extra 2 inches. I'm going to use that to fold my fabric on fold. So I have 10 inches of lining here on fold. Next we are going to come down by 4 inch on this open end and then go in by 3 inches on the folded side. I'm going to make a curve like so and then blend it out, as you can see. Next I will measure around that line until I get to 8 inches, which is what I got from measuring the armhole. I will make a mark and then add extra 2 inches for allowance. I'm marking the length of my sleeve plus extra 1 inch. My sleeve length is 10 inches plus 1, making it 11. So I marked 11 and I'm using my ruler to connect. Next I'm marking the bicep round that I'm working with, which is 10 divided by 2, 5. So I marked 5 inches and then I marked another 2 inches, which is going to serve as our allowance. Now I'm going to cut this out and then place it on the lining again to cut the second sleeve. Please give this video a like if you're learning anything. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you. So we're going to repeat this same thing on the second sleeve. Measure around this curve until I get 8 inches. Then I will mark 5 inches in, which is the sleeve round measurement divided by 2. I'm going to connect and we're going to go sew on that line for the both sleeves. Next off is the main fabric. It's folded into two, which is measuring about 16 inches wide. And then for the length, we are going to add extra 6 inches to the length that we're working with. So I marked 11 for that lining piece, so we're going to add 6 inches to that, which is going to be 17 inches. So I'm going to mark 17 for one sleeve and then another 17, so it's like 17 by 16. 16 inches on fold and then 17 inches for the length. So I'm cutting this out now. I folded it over again so that I will be cutting the two sleeves at the same time. Now on this open end, we're going to curve the upper part just like we did the last one. Come down by 4 inches and then go in by 3 inches. Make a curve and then blend it out. And then we cut. Next I'm going to cut open this down part so we have two sleeve pieces. Next we will take this to the machine and go join using 1 inch. After joining both the main fabric and the lining pieces together, we are going to fold them over, make a mark at the center, fold again and make a mark on the sides, the two pieces. We're going to do the same thing on the main fabric. I notched this time around, made a notch at the center point, folded again, and then I made another notch. Next we're going to place the lining piece right sides together with the main fabric. We're going to match the side seams together and then match the remaining 3 notches together. So the notch on the center point of the lining, we'll match it together with the one on the main fabric. The notch on the side, we're going to match it with the one on the sides, both of the sides. So next we're going to go pleat the excess fabric into those pieces like that, round. And this is what we have. Remember, everything we're doing here, you're repeating the same for the second sleeve. So after making the pleats, we are going to fold over like so. So now we have wrong side to wrong side. We are matching the side seam and then we're going to also match the center point. So now it's like it's wrong side to wrong side. This is the center point, that's the shoulder, that's the part that is going to be joined to the shoulder. So next, from the side seam, we are going to measure 5 inches like so and then make a mark. We're going to transfer that mark to the opposite side. So we're going to pin this sleeve piece to the lining until we get to that point, 5 inches from the center, from the side seam. We're repeating the same thing on this side. So once we get to that 5-inch point, we are going to pleat the excess into that space. I consider this the best way to make a puffy sleeve. So after making the pleat, this is what we have. Next we're going to join it to our blouse. We will match side seam to side seam. Make sure they match. It is very important that they match. This one is non-negotiable. Then we're going to match the center point of the sleeve to the shoulder point. Using my pins to hold this in place, we are going to take this to the machine now and join. So using 1/2 inch, we'll repeat the same for the second sleeve, and that is it on how to make this beautiful 8 pieces blouse. If you learned anything from this video, please give it a like, share it with your friends. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.